Welcome back to another lovely video of me doing random stuff. Today I'd like to talk about the future of the positive future, I should say, of Gears of War. And now currently we don't really have too much information on Gear 6 or that potential Marcus collection. But what we do have, the information we do have, well, not much. It allows us to speculate. And I don't just mean recent information, but information that has been throughout the Gears of War franchise, the reputation of the Coalition as a company, and everything that I would personally love to see added to the Gears of War experience, and what the future has in store for us. So I will be talking about that in this video today. Now, most of these opinions are of mine and do not represent the entirety of the Gears of War community. But this is my opinion, and I won't be touching much up on the story. I just want to say JD should be alive, and I would prefer if Dell didn't die at all either. So if they'd retcon that, I would be fine with that. But I will be mainly focusing on gameplay. So I think we can all agree that Gears 5 Horde is a very solid entry into the Horde game in itself, and even Escape was a nice breather for all the content. Well, I am going to give the idea of bringing back Beast Mode, Escape, Horde, and Overrun. Though Overrun is not PvE necessarily, I just wanted to get that out of the way. But with Beast Mode, I would like to see a massive improvement to the overall gameplay. Like, you get different game modes like Horde did. Like, the Horde in Gears 5 now has like 20 different game modes or something like that. It's a lot of different game modes, and they're all very fun to play. They all have a unique spin on them that makes them interesting and engaging, and I can literally spend hours playing Horde on this game. I also want to be able to keep the same classes, not necessarily the same classes, but have the same class system as Gears 5, because that class system is immaculate, it is amazing, it is beautiful, and I would love to see it return in Gears 6. I tried to play some of Gears of War 4's Horde mode, but that didn't 5 minutes and still didn't find a match. So yeah, that was my experience with Gears of War 4's Horde mode, and whenever I tried to play it custom, it was alright. It was kind of boring. But in Gears 5, I would love to see everything from Horde return. The class system, the characters, the AI helping you. In fact, I would love for them to improve upon the AI in Horde, because I'm going to be honest, the AI in Horde is dumb. They're idiots. But they still can revive you from time to time, and you'll be like thanking them so much. Just don't expect them to win you the match, to say the least. Now, going on to the next part, which is going to be Beast Mode. Now, we haven't seen Beast Mode since Gears of War 3, which is 2011, I think? It was a long time ago. But in Gears of War 3, there was a mode called Beast Mode, right? For anybody who is unaware. And you would be able to play as the Locust units that, like the Berserker or the Corpser and stuff like that. Well, I would like to see this return, except with multiple different game modes like Horde. I already mentioned that. But I would also like to see the main mode be massive, 20 players fighting against like 100 human units at a time, and you would be able to choose between generals of the Locust War and new characters from the Swarm War. And so basically how that would work is General Rom would have all of his abilities from the Shadow of War DLC, right? So would Karn from the Gears of War Judgment, and he would have his own abilities and stuff like that, and so on and so on with all the generals that we've at least had in game. Now, if they were to add the expanded universe characters, I would be a-okay with that. I would like that, but potentially maybe up for updates they could do that. But this is the main thing I want to see them do for that. Now, how that would work is, since each general that I know of had a creature. Let's see, General Rom had that Reaver, right? He also had the crew, but you know, that's besides the point. He had the Reaver and the crew. Scourge had the Hydra. Mira had the Tempest Beast, or whatever it was called. Karn had the Shibboleth, which is a very sad story behind it. All these were really cool ideas, in my opinion, and I would like to see them further explained, or not explained, but further explored in a beast mode that is massive. Now, obviously have a classic beast mode for people who just want to play beast mode, right? Now, the big team battle beast mode, I'm going to call it that. It would have objectives, right? Kind of like Overrun, except these objectives are more and more, like sectors and stuff like that. And you'd have to take these points, and you'd have to be able to hold off the humans for long enough. And obviously, this beast mode would be very much having to have lower units. It would still have a credit system like Gears of War 3, except it would be more expensive to get the generals, like those may be one-time deals or whatnot. Like, if they die, you can't bring them back, kind of deal. I think that would be pretty cool. Now, for Escape, they used to have this feature in Gears 5, but they removed it. But you can create your own maps, and I'll get onto this with the PvP modes as well. But you would be able to create your own maps and be able to post them later on down the line. And that was super cool to me. I really liked that idea. Well, you can't you can't do that now, unfortunately. It's very they took it out to focus on future projects because they have to host up these servers and stuff for everything, which to me, it's like, come on, it's Gears 5, you can do it, you make enough money, whatever, you know. In Gears 5, it should still have the custom map maker. Now, if they reintroduce the map maker in Gears 6, I will be and improve it, because that was my biggest gripe with Gears 5's. They would not improve it. It was always in beta form. I want to see the custom map maker make a return, and they actually improve it and make it 10 times better than what it was. Add the Locust, add all the Swarm characters that you could find. Make it massive. Make Escape like Horde, where it is in the game every single sequel from their event from Gears 5 forward. And make the map maker a staple as well, because that is something I really, really want to see. Now this has only, the next thing I'm going to discuss is I kind of like the idea, but I kind of don't. And this is one of my friend's opinions. And it's custom classes, but only for Horde mode. And these would be able to, you would be able to customize your Lancer to have like scope maybe. And while it doesn't necessarily change the third person perspective, it will make you zoom in faster, farther, or you'll be more accurate, one of the two. And then also, like, get rid of the stock, you'd have more mobility, but you would lose accuracy, extended mag maybe, different, because the Gears of War franchise now has a bunch of different weapons, and I would also like to see them all return. So I don't necessarily mind the idea of them bringing it back. Not bringing it back, but bringing a custom class loadout system for Horde, and for Horde only. And I think that would be a really good idea, really cool, and I would really enjoy that. But now we get onto the PvP of this video. Now with the PvP, there is something I really want to see, and that I've already mentioned it, is a map maker for PvP. Because making maps, I love making maps. I want to become a level designer for a future job. I want to become specifically for 343 Industries. But I really want to be able to create a map in Gears of War and see people play on it and have the knowledge that people are enjoying something I created. I've just find that very amazing, and I want to see that continue on in Gears of War 6 or Gear 6, whatever they decide to call it. Which, funny enough, they have two different trademarks now, Gears of War and Gears. So yeah, that's a little bit of interesting information for you. The next thing I want to see, and this is kind of just more of a gameplay overall thing, is since there are problems of Gears of War 5 multiplayer that people are bringing up and stuff like that, even though I think the Gears 5 experience overall is pretty good, I do kind of agree with it. I personally think that they should have the Gears of War 3 style PvP for PvP, and Gears 5 PvE for, well, PvE for Gears of War 6. I think that would be a cool blend and mesh, and I think that would bring both worlds together, and I think they could create something that's really special and unique within that game by combining those two. The next thing I want to talk about when it comes to PvP is maps. And I want to see quite a few remakes and quite a few new maps as well. Like, the remakes in Gears of War are always good. I don't know how they managed to make all the remakes always good almost all the time. I am very much impressed by it. I would like to, and I have no doubt that we will be getting this, and that's what I want to see for the future, is more maps for that. Now, I also want to see much more variety of game modes and perhaps incorporate PvE and some PvP game modes. I think that would be cool, kind of like Halo 5 Warzone. That was a pretty cool idea in my opinion. But I would also like to see some more fluid combat within the PvP. Like in Gears 5, the PvP is pretty fluid, but the problem is it was more stylized than it was practical in some ways. I mean, there are several things that were nerfed, like wall bouncing and stuff like that. And I just would like to see the overall practicality of it be Gears of War 3. Maybe the style of Gears 5 for the PvP. I didn't have a whole lot for PvP, so I'm going to get to the miscellaneous customization. Another good thing about Gears of War 5 or Gears 5, whatever you want to call it, was the customization. It was very good. I love that level of customization within the game, and how each character is that character, and you get to have skins for that character instead of having, a bunch of just, skins, essentially. You always felt like the same character throughout all the franchise, and it would just be putting on a different skin for that character and stuff like that. Well, now it feels like you're actually playing as different characters because each character has its own unique skins and sometimes emotes. Like for the COG gear, it has a very specific emote. I love the customization because it is very extensive. It is very extensive, and I would love to see more of it. And in fact, improve it. Kind of like this idea was brought up to me, right? For you would be able to customize different pieces for different characters, kind of like in Halo where you get to customize your armor, except each character has its own armor pieces that you get to swap around and stuff like that. Like imagine Marcus Phoenix except with a helmet or something like that, or like his collector's winter armor. Except the thing is, you get to have his his classic gauntlets on its torso and stuff like that. I think that would be cool and amazing. Next thing I want to see for the customization is this is pretty small, but more executions and the ability to select random executions during a match. So in Gears 5, you get to choose different executions for different weapons and stuff like that, which is a really cool idea. I really like that. But I would really like if they would add a random option. So whenever you're just playing around the game and stuff like that, whenever you do an execution on one guy, it'll be a completely different execution from the next guy and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. There's not too much to say about the customization other than that, because this is a very small miscellaneous section. But this so far has been my thoughts and on what the next Gears game could and should have. I personally think it should have a lot of this, but I want to hear your opinions about the Gears of War franchise and its future, because I think the Gears of War has a very high potential hope for being a really great franchise once again, because unlike 343, where the 343 has consistently messed up on Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo MCC, and you can debate Halo Infinite now, unfortunately. The Coalition only has really one bad game, and that was Gears of War 4, and even then, the bad part about it was the microtransactions, and that was egregious. But that also reminds me, the gold coin system in Gears 5, I think that's fine. I think it should stay, but I would prefer the progression system to be much more amped up and improved. Overall, that's my opinions, and I want to hear yours in the comments. I hope you guys have a jolly good day. Peace.